the function of philosophy is not merely to read books, nor is it to study what the ancient philosophers have said, like Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, and others like them. In fact, the studying of the history of philosophy and the reading of philosophy books is its own mind game. The purpose of that mind game is to prevent you from realizing the actual mind game that is being played here right now in your life. Because you're not going to be able to connect all that ancient knowledge to what is actually happening in your life today. So that's what Actualize.org is trying to do. Is it's really sort of like a philosophy 2.0 here. We're trying to take academic philosophy and apply it to the actual mind game that is your life, so that it actually connects. But if you're not careful, you can turn Actualize.org into its own mind game. Your ego mind would love nothing more than to sit eating a bucket of ice cream every night and just watching hour after hour of Actualize.org videos and navel gazing about it, masturbating about it, and not changing your life, not actually applying the lessons, not actually doing your own investigations and contemplations into the topics that I talk about, just taking me at my word, or debating and arguing with me, which itself is a very low form of the mind game here. Every profound thing that I say, you have to derive for yourself, first of all, and then second of all, you have to learn how it connects with your life and how you can use it to improve the artfulness with which you play the game. That's the only point of Actualize.org. So philosophy does have a very important point. Philosophy, in a sense, you could define it as the study of the mechanics of the mind game of life and reality. You really study it deeply, and in fact, you have a love for the study of the mind game. See, most people love to play the mind game, but they don't love studying how the mind game is played. Because that's a meta function, you see. We talked about that in the episode called What It Means to Go Meta. So it's not enough to play the game, you have to study the game. What's the game about? What does it mean to win the game? What's the difference between people who are playing the game artfully and those who are not? What causes suffering within the game? How do people deceive themselves within the game? What are all the possible ways, and how am I doing that to myself? See, this is true philosophy. And when you frame it like this, then you realize that is there anything more important within the mind game than to realize that it is a mind game and then to study how the mind game is played? What's more important? So there's a bit of a paradox here, is that when you first start studying how the mind game is played and how it is a mind game, at first it's very abstract and it's not practical. And people around you will look at you like you're a little bit nuts. Like, why are you even studying this stuff? What's the point? They don't see the point because they're not thinking very far. They're only thinking about, how do I play the next move? So they're like desperate chess players just looking to make the next right move to save their king because they're about to get checkmated. That's the desperate situation that most people in life find themselves in. But see, if you're a wise chess player, you realize that it's already too late. That game they're playing, they're going to lose. It's already too late what they're doing. If you really want to play chess well, you got to study long before you actually enter into any competition. You got to actually study by yourself the different moves and the different opening tactics and gambits that exist within chess. You got to study the history of chess and all the famous games that have been played, and you got to play test games on yourself against yourself or some other opponent who's like a teacher of yours that you're practicing with, who can show you the different moves and the different tricks that exist. You see? And so you prepare yourself. But see, when you're preparing yourself and you're sitting there reading books about chess, somebody who's just eager to make the next move in a chess game, he's going to be like, why are you reading that book? Why are you preparing? Just play. But if you play, you're going to be a fool and you're going to get a fool's mate. See? So when you first start studying philosophy, it's going to seem very abstract, and you're going to go through a phase of what might seem like mental masturbation and a lot of confusion, and you're not going to know what's up, what's down. You're not going to know who to trust, what book to read. Like, you're going to be confused and lost. And so I went through years of that, and what got me through that, it's just my love for the process itself. So I didn't enter into philosophy with the hope of like, okay, how can I quickly just get this over with so that I have all the answers? I just want the answers. No. For me, it was just an exploration. I wanted to explore the mechanics of the mind. And that was fascinating in and of itself for me. I didn't even need it to be practical or applicable. I didn't need my philosophy to get me laid. I didn't need a direct path from philosophy to millions of dollars. I didn't need a direct path from doing philosophy to having a great career or becoming famous or raising a family. It was just for the love of truth and understanding. Because there was just an innate recognition, intuition, that truth is valuable in and of itself. Understanding the mechanics of the mind is valuable in and of itself. It's interesting. The mind is an interesting thing to study because you're using it all the time anyways. But then what that ultimately led to is all sorts of practical ramifications.